Hi, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be looking at setting up the mesh network part of our home network. We've got the Asus RT-AC88U and the Asus AC88U. There's a bit of age difference between these two routers. This is a much older one, but it will still get the firmware update to work with the mesh system, whereas this is one of their newest ones, which is much quicker and also has the advantage of having 8 Ethernet ports on the back of it, so it actually makes quite a nice backbone part of our mesh network. So this will be going up in the office, and this will probably be going in the bedroom just to ensure that we get the Wi-Fi to the very front of the property. But we might find that this is all we need. But we got the two just so we can see how it will work with having a 3 router mesh setup. So let's have a look at what's in the box. Okay, let's have a quick look at the AC88U router with the 8 port at the back first of all. We have a little bit of marketing, and then the router, very similar to the ROG Rapture router, very similar sort of in design and aesthetics of it. Here we have our 8 Ethernet ports and our WAN port, power on-off, WPS switch, USB point, reset switch, and then we've got antenna connections. We've then got our LED and Wi-Fi switch as well, and a USB port, USB 3 port hidden under a little flap. We have our power brick, UK cable, CAT cable, European cable, and then our 4 antennas, installation CD, instruction manual, and certificate. What we need to do first of all is attach our antennas to the sides and the back of the router. Now the advantage with Asus's router mesh AI is that the routers should all connect, download their firmware, recognize the current setup, and then act as almost independent routers. But they're not quite hotspots either. It's an intelligent mesh network. You get all the advantages of having a router in each location, but at the same time still having it functioning as a single network entity. So all your network ports will act as if they're all on the same cable or Wi-Fi connected network, which allows you to be a bit more flexible in your location of where you put them, because you might not be able to get cables to all your points that you want to have routers or switches. And the network also intelligently monitors itself and will broadcast the signal either via the cables or via Wi-Fi, depending on which will give you the fastest and most stable connection. So it's going to be very, very reliable system. So that is now physically set up. I probably won't need the cable because this is hopefully going to be able to be set up wirelessly up in the office, so that we can then have access points in the office, and hopefully that will also be powerful enough just to bring it that little bit further to the front of the house for that security camera. If not, we can rely on having the third router as well, which we'll now look into. We'll do a quick unboxing of the Asus AC88U router, which we'll be adding to our mesh network. So let's have a quick look at what comes in with this one. It's a much smaller and lighter router. It's only got 4 Ethernet ports, the WAN port, 2 USB ports, power supply, reset, WPS switch, and only 3 antennas on this one. So it's not going to be as fast, it's not going to be as powerful, but it will get the job done as an access point and extender. We have the warranty, user manual, and CD. A little stand if you want to have it mounted on a table, but we're just going to probably just put that underneath a bed so it's not going to be seen. Aerials, a Ethernet cable, much smaller power supply as it's obviously a less powerful unit. It doesn't need to have the same sort of amperage. A UK power adapter and a continental power adapter for Europe. It does still support multi-in, multi-out, so the throughput shouldn't be a problem in terms of having multiple devices connecting at once. The speed is slower than the Rapture or the 88U, but no, as an access point or extender, this should be absolutely fine for that little bit extra, or just for a more of a standard home user. That'd be more than adequate. But we do a lot of 4K streaming, running a full network, doing huge amounts of data traffic, so we do want that little bit faster service. And again, once that's powered on and set up, we'll be able to access the firmware update and make it part of our mesh network. So we'll have a look at setting both of those up on our mesh system now. We'll now connect it to our current network and set up the router. We'll just turn it on and wait for it to power up. It does take a little while. It's got to go through some internal diagnostics to fully boot. You'll see the lights come on fully when it has. So now it's powered on, we also need to put the Wi-Fi on by pressing the button at the front. Now the router's fired up and we've got Wi-Fi enabled. What I've gone to a web browser and I'm going to type in the address router.asus.com, and that should then take me to the router's page. Okay, I've come back to the Rapture access page and I've gone to network map, and we've got the nodes, so we're going to see if we can add a node from here. Find a mesh mode, search. Select the 88U and we'll select apply. It does want the routers to be very, very close for this to work. Mine are probably about 4 meters away, I have to admit, and inside a cupboard. So I've just opened the cupboard door so it got a bit better signal, and now you can see that it's pushing the update and settings from the main router that we're using onto this one. to activate the mesh system. And once this is done, we can move this upstairs into the office, and I'll connect the PC with an Ethernet cable just to see if it's all fully connecting, so I can take the PC off of wireless and have it connected with an Ethernet cable to this router, which will then be wireless downstairs, but also it means my printers can then connect and we've got an extra access point upstairs. Okay, it's still saying it's not quite in range, so I'm going to say OK to that. When they say they want them close together, you've got the ROG Rapture router at the top, and on the shelf below we've got the 88U. So as you can see, I can't really get them any closer, so if this doesn't work we'll have to resort to using the PC and a Ethernet cable, but hopefully this one should work, whereas it was just literally down on the floor there, but in a diagonal. That might have just been over there for the meter limit, but I doubt it. But we will see how that goes. Okay, just finished doing another full factory reset on the 88U. So we'll search for devices. And select it and apply and let that go through. Okay, after restarting both the main router and what's going to be the access node, it's finally succeeded doing the push of the update. So I'll click OK, and we can now see that we have a node. There it is. So I'm going to move that upstairs now and connect the upstairs PC with an Ethernet cable to the wireless router to check to see what sort of quality of connection we are getting. Okay, we're now upstairs in the office and we've got the router plugged in to the mains. I've also connected two Ethernet cables, one going down to my laser printer just underneath the desk and one to my laptop just for a quick test. And at the moment we are connected via wireless. Let's just go to speed test. I'm just making sure I'm testing it with the Wi-Fi. It wasn't a terrible speed test, but this has only got a 2G network card in the laptop, so it wouldn't get the fast 5G connection that we really should be getting. But let's now come down here and just turn off the wireless. So we'll just disconnect, plug our Ethernet cable back in. You see we're now connecting with the Ethernet connection, and that's now connected. Try again. Is there any difference in speed? A little bit slower, but only minutely. So that is of course now going via the router, so you've got an extra hop that it is doing there. That time's a bit faster. But it goes to show we've now got a wired Ethernet connection upstairs connected wirelessly. So it allows us to now put access points, networking in where we couldn't before. Instead of now having to drill a wall through the office wall, run a cable downstairs, drill a hole back into the house to get to the back of the main router, we can now just dot these around and get full coverage where we want. Also, I've now got access to my network printer, which before was only shared via the PC, so I don't need to have my computer on to have a network printer actually running. So it looks like it's all working. We now need to check to see have we got better coverage out at the front. We can also have a quick look at the interface whilst we're here. If I come down to the network map, we can see that you've got the node, which is this one, and it currently has 2 clients connected to it, which is my laptop and the printer. So as devices move around the house, it will connect to which router will give it the best speed and best signal. Automatically, we don't need to do anything, just set up one SSID and one web key and distribute the points where we need them. With a little bit of tinkering to get the Asus RT-AC88U router activated with the AiMesh network, which was purely down to updating the firmware in the correct way, using sort of the USB stick connected to my phone and then logging in that way, or you could do it with the computer with an Ethernet cable, which is recommended. Once you've got the firmware on, make sure you do a full factory reset and then wait a minute or two, restart both the AC8U and your current mesh router, which will be the server, or if you're going to set this one as a server, obviously you then have to restart the other one and install the firmware on that as well. It then got up and running and the range was better. We've now got full access to the front of the house. It doesn't quite get to the end of the driveway, so the computer in the car isn't getting Wi-Fi, but at least now the security cameras, the computer in the car wasn't getting any whatsoever. It's now getting intermittent, so it's considerably that much further, and we've had no issues with the security camera. So that's a plus. We've now got 8 network cards, or 8 Ethernet ports up in the office, so that's plenty for us there for now. So we might put one later on in the front room upstairs if we want extra ports up there, or we just need that little bit extra range for the car, which we probably won't bother with. But the other router we had, there was a problem with, because this Asus numbering system isn't very clear. You've got to make sure you get the right router, because although they say it will support all your old routers, they don't at the moment. We had the other router, which there's a 1B and a, sorry, there's a 1A and a 1B version, and you've got to make sure you have the right one. The difference between them is one has a USB 3 port on the front of it and the other one doesn't. The other one was the 66U router, and be careful, if you're going to buy a router, make sure you check the compatibility list on the Asus website very, very carefully. They have lots and lots of routers with almost identical numbers, and it's not that, oh, I've got the 1600 router, because the 1600 router range is in there. You've got to make sure you get the correct version of that range of routers. So that is my only criticism about how they're dealing with it at the moment. The firmware updates are being quite slow to roll out, and they're now admitting that some of the older ones might not even get support at all because of some of the hardware restrictions. So do take a good note of what one you're going to get if you're going to buy one. If you've already got one, then it's what you've got. You can't do anything about it. It's either compatible or it's not, but it might be compatible later on, so it is worth holding on to. But definitely the ROC router that they do is amazing and definitely worth it. It is considerably more expensive, but it is an excellent router. The functionality that's built into it is superb. And again, the 88U is also a lovely router. Recommend that. Would look at some of the other ones in the future if they roll out some more firmware, because they've got others which are tri-band enabled, which would be a very good point, I'd have thought, if you're going to be doing a mesh system. But that one just happens not to be on the system yet. But in the future I'll do an update, no doubt, about the AiMesh network as we grow our network and come across any issues or new models that might be more suitable. Thanks for now, take care, all the best, stay safe online and keep growing. See you in the future, bye bye.